A time of year where trees will start leafing out over the next couple of months, and while that shade is awfully welcome as it starts warming up, it does create a challenge for what to plant in that shade. So we're checking in with Mara Ammons at Pike Nurseries this morning to help us with that challenge. Good morning, Mara.
Good morning.
All right, so I imagine, like most things, the first thing you really need to do is figure out how much sunlight do you actually have or not have.
Yes, exactly. So when you're outside, whenever you come home, just take a peek and see where it's the warmest part of your yard. So wherever that is, the opposite side will be your shady, cool areas. Part shade is anything less than 6 hours, but maybe 3 to 6 hours is perfect for part. And then that has to be morning sunlight exposure.
Okay.
You have afternoon sunlight, that's kind of amplified and it's super hot already, the earth is warmed up, so that's considered full sun.
Okay.
Yep.
So once you've determined that, what are some things that we could think about as we're determining what to plant?
Okay, so making sure you're designing with intent of course, adding color, what times of years are they going to bloom is all really important. You're going to start with your shrubs.
Okay.
So we have a couple of varieties here that you recognize. The Camellias are looking fantastic during the winter. The Pyeris right here, these are so sweet. They're going to start blooming now, and then of course later in the spring and towards the fall you're going to have other things happening. Of course the Azaleas, this one's amazing. It happens a few times, and this one is a rebloomer and it prefers a little less sun, so that'll look great. You're familiar with the masters and how it's all happening with all that gorgeous beauty. These are the Azaleas, and then we have all the different varieties over here that add some texture as well.
I was going to say, I think there's a misconception when you're talking about planting in the shade that you have to sacrifice color, but clearly you don't.
You do not.
And even in the things that are generally one color, the texture makes a difference too, right?
Yes, and then adding that light back into your shade garden or your areas that are a lot darker is really refreshing because you're creating your own oasis in your yard for sure. And so Akuba has these speckles of sunlight, and then you've got these leopard plants right here that looks like it's falling right through the leaves. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then as you get shorter into your different zones of your garden, make sure that you have some amazing color, like the hellebore are happening right now, but then you can later in the spring have other things as well.
Yes, you got a beautiful variety of colors here.
Isn't it gorgeous?
What if you have something really stubborn where you have difficulty growing anything, but you just want the ground covered?
Yes, yes, those mossy spots in your yard where you've tried grass and it just did not happen. So we have other things like these mondos right here that you don't have to cut back. It looks fantastic year round, which is nice over in the shade. And this is Pachysandra. It spreads out and will take up those beautiful areas so that you have something to look at.
Great. Ready to tackle those shady areas now.
Exactly.
Thanks, Mara.